Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a great honor to be here, and before I make a few remarks, I'd simply like to echo the sentiments of my colleagues in wishing all Iranian people a very happy Iranian New Year, one that will be full of gifts. I propose 3 gifts. The first one is successfully delisting the MEK. The second one, which has been mentioned but is equally important, is ensuring the security of the people of Camp Ashraf. And the third is to support the popular movement for freedom as expressed by Iranians both inside and outside of Iran. We should give the people of Iran the opportunity to get control of their destiny and experience freedom, not in 10 years or 20 years, but beginning in this new Iranian New Year. Ladies and gentlemen, I am truly honored to be a member of this panel with my colleagues to talk about this very, very important matter pertaining to the critical issues developing in that part of the world, in the Middle East, none of which, current crisis notwithstanding, is more important and more consequential for global security than the Iranian issue in all of its complexities. We are here, in my opinion, at a historical turning point in a very important part of the world, embracing North Africa, the Middle East, and this certainly includes Iran, it includes Israel, it includes the Palestinians, the Middle East peace process, and the Gulf states. And I'm very happy to be here with my friends whose my colleagues whose career have helped shape our nation in so many positive ways. And I'm inspired by their words and the thinking and the passion that goes behind those words. And I think that the reason we're all here today is to help our nation, or help convince our nation, in our effort to find the solution to the very real threat that Iran poses, Iran's regime on its present course, and the threat it presents to the world as we look at it. I think everyone here, and certainly I can bear witness to the fact that the President has brought personal attention to the Iranian question since January 20th of 2009. In my view, it has been a constant agenda item on his calendar, and I know a little bit about what his calendar looks like. It began with an initial outreach based on reason to all of our potential adversaries, and culminating with a near global agreement that sanctions had to be imposed as a necessary consequence to Iran's intransigence and deception with regard to its human rights policy, its support for terrorists, and the direction of its nuclear program. President Obama signaled in 3 speeches, the inaugural address, the Cairo speech, and the Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, his vision with regard to the foreign policy of the United States, particularly as it pertains to the Muslim world. The Iranian regime was given special latitude with regard to its nuclear intentions and its future relations with the United States. At every turn, both public and private, Iran has thumbed its nose at world opinion and most recently insulted Turkey by walking out of the Istanbul Conference. Indeed, Iran's actions have driven Russia and China into agreement with the United States and other countries and most of the world with regard to how we view their intentions as we analyze the current path that they're pursuing. The President has also clearly articulated the position that we would not allow Iran to acquire weaponized nuclear technology, but by any analysis, notwithstanding the pressure created by the imposition of sanctions Iran has reason to be content, given the paralysis of the Middle East peace process, the uncertainty created by upheavals in North Africa, and the current inattention to their issues caused by the immediacy of the overall situation. It is interesting to note the relative and almost eerie silence that exists with regard to Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, Syria, and even Al-Qaeda. They have all gone to ground, as we say. This isn't because they're happy with the current developments, but more because they are hard at work to make sure that events come out the way they wish, especially in Egypt, in Tunisia, and Libya. It is not lost on them that the Middle East peace process is stalled at a time that cries out for positive movement in this globally significant and critical issue. This is a critical time, not just in the region, but for the world of the 21st century, 11 years of which are already in the books. In the arsenal of international response to the regime's repeated violations of human rights, persistent support for terrorists, and its nuclear program, the Iranian people themselves deserve their place and our support. We should remove all shackles that currently impede the human potential that exists to bring about democratic change with regard to the regime that currently governs Iran. Our European friends have already done so, and they look to us to do the same thing. It is odd, actually it is odd in the extreme, that we would be in agreement with the Iranian regime with regard to any organization they regard as terrorist in nature. The people of Iran should decide their own future, and to the extent they seek democratic reform, we and our allies and friends should be supportive of that effort. Iran's temporary regime, and I use the word temporary regime, cannot withstand the inexorable march of history or the power of peace or the power of global opinion indefinitely. Iran has had 2 full years to show its true colors, and those colors do not bode well for the future. It is time for us to do what is required to recognize the legitimacy of the ideals of the people of Iran. It is time to insist, as we did from 2003 to 2009, that the security of the people at Camp Ashraf be guaranteed by the Iraqi government. In addition to changing our policy in the sense of, as Governor Dean just said, insisting on the government, to the government of Iraq, that it do the right thing, something that they agreed to do in 2009 when power was transferred. I also think the United Nations should do its share with regard to assuring the security of the people at Camp Ashraf. Hearings on both sides of Capitol Hill have questioned our policy in this matter. A Court of Appeals ruling has tasked the Secretary of State to review our policy on this issue. And a number of prominent Americans, some of whom are here today, have lent their voices to urging a review of our policy. There may be many things we'll have to consider where Iran is concerned in order to live up to the President's words and his stated goals. One of them should certainly be to let the people inside and outside Iran affect their own destiny with the endorsement of the United States, which is all they've been asking for. Good intentions must now be augmented by action, designed to do the right thing. The world and the Iranian people are certainly watching once again to see if the United States will do the right thing. I'm confident that we will, but the time to do it is now. Thank you very much.